Boom. Okay, we're live. Welcome in, everybody. Gentleman's Code, episode 9, part 2. If you guys were here yesterday trying to watch, you guys obviously saw what happened. We had a little bit of technical issues yesterday with some sound stuff, but no big worries. We're back today, this morning. So, welcome back, everyone. I don't know exactly what we're going to talk about since we kind of gave all the juice yesterday. We had some good topics coming out, but I guess we'll touch on some things. First thing I wanted to just round out on something we talked about yesterday. The Hurricane Milton did come through Florida last night. It looked like we were correct. He was kind of a little bitch. So, all good. From what I'm seeing, my place is good. Everything's cleared up. And, just a lot of wind. 100-mile-per-hour winds will do some damage, but nothing as opposed to storm surge waves crashing in on the place. So, all good on that perspective. But one other thing I wanted to touch on, the Taylor's Code has a couple new classroom sections in there as of this week. 2 new classroom sections. We have the private crypto plays brought to you by Priamo, where he's going to be giving you guys all the top crypto plays of the day. Every other day it's been possibly, so new plays every other day. And then I just dropped in the tax code, so that is me giving you guys all this tax information. And also, if you guys have small businesses or you want help on your personal tax returns, I'm available there for consulting services or whatever you guys want to get done in your tax realms. So without further ado, I'll kick it over to Priamo and we'll get this episode kicked off.
We're back in business, baby. And Milton was a little bitch. That's what we were saying yesterday. I know the audio was gone, so you guys couldn't hear it, but we were talking about how can you name a Hurricane Milton and expect that thing to come through and ravage the place? And of course it had it. So Milton, nice try, buddy. And I just saw, I want to mention this guy again because we have to. So Lieutenant Dan, the dude in the boat. So I'm sure some of you guys have been seeing this guy on Twitter on X. And he basically set up a boat in the harbor, right? As the
Tampa Bay Harbor, yeah.
This dude with one leg. That's why they call him Lieutenant Dan, because he's got a leg missing. He's just I don't even know who the hell this guy is, but he's starting to go viral on social media because he set up a boat and he said he's going to stay in his boat through the hurricane. He's not leaving, right? Even though it's Category 5, if you stay, you're dying, all this kind of shit. He said, "Fuck it, I'm going in the boat." And he said that, so here was his rationale whenever he was talking to the people who were asking about him. He said that if the water goes up, the boat goes up with it. So I'll be fine. If the water's 30 feet in the air, I'll be 30 feet in the air. All right, well, hey, I mean, but the balls on the guy, the bravery, that's why everybody was loving it. They're looking at this guy saying, all right, he's insane, but we respect the bravery. This is a fucking hero. So fortunately, Milton didn't come through and ravage the place because I'm hoping that he's alive. You know, hopefully he survived. So we'll see some updates today.
I think he should be.
He should be all right. Otherwise, we'll probably never hear from him again, Lieutenant Dan.
Swept out to sea. But no,
Yeah.
you're right. Everyone was like, "You're crazy. You got to get to a shelter. You're not going to survive this." He's like, "I'm good." He's like, "I got it. I know what I'm doing." So, hey, if he knows what he's doing, the guy knows what he's doing. Let him go.
Yeah. And well, here's the thing too. I don't think he knew what he was doing, but still. Legend. I saw a video of them they tied up a tire, a big tire next to the wooden pole that he was lined up to because the boat kept crashing into the wooden pole and it was probably going to fucking sink the boat. So they did a makeshift with the tire to give it some cushion. So I don't know. I don't know if the guy knew what he was doing, but he's a hero. That's that. So we were talking about yesterday bravery, right? And people doing brave things. Oh yeah, the audio is good.
Yes.
Yeah, our moderators were fucking slacking yesterday as we were getting attacked by the Harris campaign. They affected our audio settings so that we couldn't come through on the live. Our moderator from the UK decided to wake up, 2, 3 p.m. in the afternoon, jump on the live stream 45 minutes into the call and let us know after 45 minutes of streaming, "Hey guys, I can't hear Priamo. I can't hear anybody." Oh, okay. Thanks guys, appreciate it. So, anyways, all right. So let's think about what were some of the we had some fantastic topics we were talking about yesterday. We talked about the hurricane. What was one other thing you were talking about? The property, right? Something that had to do with properties in Florida, how things were getting all fucked.
One of the big things that we talked about, and you're familiar with, and that I've heard since living in Florida, is the actual ability for insurance companies to cover these houses when these natural disasters happen. So insurance companies are actually pulling their business out of high risk areas in Florida and other areas around the coast in South Carolina, North Carolina, because these storms are so bad in some ways that they ravage through a first level of a house, and everything in that house is going to have to be covered by insurance. But the thing is, the insurance companies can only raise their premiums so much before the customer is not going to pay for it. So one, it's very expensive for these people to even get these flood insurances. One, because the insurance companies make the premium super high because they need to make a couple dollars. That's why they're a business. They're trying to make a couple dollars, but their premiums are already so high. But then when people actually go to use the insurance, the deductibles, like for a flood coming through, the insurance company has to dish out so much money that they're not making any money. They're actually losing money when these storms come through. So one, it's getting really hard to get that insurance in those flood areas, and two, businesses just don't even want to deal with it anymore. They're going to go to somewhere that's lower risk and where they could make more money because they're they're getting payments from people, but then they're dishing out more, when the deductibles and all that insurance is coming due. So that was just one thing we talked on. And
Yeah.
what's your take on that? Because I know you do work with people that have to pay premiums and things like that. So what is that balance between setting the premium too high and then if the premium is too low where insurance companies aren't going to make money?
hmm So that's actually a good question because the insurance industry is one of the industries where it's state regulated. So state by state, it has a state insurance department. They regulate. Uh, so in life insurance, I know this to be the case. I don't know how it is with homeowners insurance. So property and casualty, I would assume it works similar. I would assume so, but I'm not positive. But I know with the life insurance industry, so there's a state department with every state. And so what those states do is they regulate what the premiums can be for products. So the insurance companies, they actually can't they can't pick random premiums, right? So there's basically a range in which they can charge for a certain type of coverage and a certain amount of coverage, and then they have to stay within those bounds. So depending on the company and what they want to offer and what their actuaries had actually done mathematically to determine what's going to be profitable or not, that's how they're going to base their premiums within that range.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not something where, with life insurance, it's not something that people think you can barter on it. Oh, it's $100 a month. Well, could you get me for like 85 or 80 a month? It doesn't work like that. $100,000 of coverage costs what $100,000 of coverage costs across the board. So that, if it is the same way in the property and casualty insurance, which would be homeowners, flood insurance, all that kind of stuff in Florida, then I'm sure that's probably what's happening to these companies is that because they literally cannot raise their premiums past a certain bound.
Mm-hmm.
That's why they're losing so much money. So that one, they probably can't even charge what they would need to charge in order to be profitable whenever these storms come through. So this is why they go out of business and they can't pay out these claims. And then even if they could raise their premiums to that point, then nobody would buy it, obviously, because it would just be way too unaffordable. But I'm
Yeah.
sure I'm sure that's probably what's happening.
Yeah, that sounds right in terms of the state regulation. I think probably insurance companies are at the very top of that quadrant of percentage or whatever they're allowed to charge. And yeah,
Right.
that's what I would say too.
And yesterday we were talking about how we were talking about how these hurricanes come through and they destroy these houses, and now people aren't getting the insurance claims paid out on their home. So they get their house completely fucking destroyed. They don't have a place to live. Everything's gone. Everything they worked for their entire life is gone, and then they can't get paid out the money on the house, even on the insurance that they had paid for the last couple of years. So obviously that's a huge problem. That fucks people over. I mean, you grow up thinking that you save up your entire life to be able to finally buy a house, which you don't even really buy it. You get a 30, 40-year mortgage that locks you in and makes you a slave for the next 30 years. And that's pretty much what you've worked for your entire life. And now your entire net worth is now tied to this physical property that just got destroyed in a hurricane, and now you're left with nothing. And so we were saying that for the young generation, those of you who want to make money and escape, the matrix, get out of the current situation that you're in, I made the argument that it just doesn't seem worthwhile, or at least to me, it's not worthwhile to actually buy a home, especially in a place like that. Because when you buy a home, number one, you're tied to that piece of land. You're tied to that location, which as a young entrepreneur, a young hustler, somebody that needs to be in the best position possible to be able to make money, I don't believe not having location freedom is advantageous to you. If you're able to move somewhere with less taxes, better climate, better opportunities to make money, more people with like-minded situations as you, it makes sense to go there as opposed to tying yourself to a small town or to where you grew up at, etc. And so people who buy homes, you're not making any money off of that property unless you say, oh, well, it's going to appreciate over time and then I can sell it. But yeah, 30 years down the road, whenever you're old and decrepit and you've made, $1 million, $2 million at that point, which in 30, 40 years, $1 million, $2 million is literally going to be nothing. It's not going to be worth shit.
Inflation's going to follow the path of your appreciation of your house anyway, at the rate we're going.
Exactly. Exactly. So it doesn't even make sense to do that as an investment for yourself. It's just a scam that's sold to you by banks so that they can sell you a mortgage and they can make their money for the next 30 years. So it just doesn't make sense to buy a home to live in anymore. Okay, in my opinion. And you see these people who did this, they went that route, they got devastated by this hurricane, and now they're left with absolutely nothing and they're back at ground zero and they have no asset. So for a young person, it just makes more sense to rent and then be able to move and go where you need to go. And when you do decide to buy properties, you shouldn't be buying properties that you're going to live in yourself. You should be buying properties, if you are going to buy them, and do what the big businesses do what the real estate entrepreneurs do, rent them out, right? So you see more and more the trend moving in the direction of single family homes and multifamily homes basically getting bought up by big corporations and big investors almost all the way across the United States. This is happening more and more and more and more. So they're monopolizing the real estate industry, which is not good for the individual entrepreneur who's trying to do the same thing. But as a family, as a single person, you shouldn't be trying to buy a home and not make money off of it and just living in it. Nowadays, it just doesn't make sense,
in
right?
the landscape of like the finance world right now too, it's more expensive to buy a house. So if you're someone who just got out of college, you have your first job and you're looking for somewhere to live and you have like a good amount of money, even if you have a good amount of money, don't buy a house. It doesn't make sense because it's one, your risk is 100% higher than if you're renting. You assume no risk as a renter. All you're assuming risk to is if you actually just cause damage to the house that you're renting, and then you have to pay for those damages. So if you're someone who's just going to live in the house, you're going to be a good tenant, you don't have nothing to worry about. And with where inflation has been and where interest rates are on the way down now, but where they were over the past couple years, you're paying a premium for a house right now too. So even if it's not your dream house, even if it's not somewhere you see yourself being in 20, 30 years, you're going to pay the maximum price for that because it's expensive right now. It's just downright expensive. Then you add everything on top of it with homeowners insurance and um,
Property
electric,
taxes.
property taxes, everything. It just comes out to be way more expensive month over month than renting, and you assume less risk. And we talk about locational freedom. If you don't like where you moved, after 1 year, your lease is up, and you can move somewhere else. You can move across town. You can move across states. You can move across country. So having this flexibility and not being locked into something, so it's like it's a lot of weight on your shoulders to buy a house.
Mhm.
It's not easy. We talk about people calling it, passive income, buying a house and putting a tenant in it. It's not like that. It's not like that anymore. Maybe back in the day when the mortgage rates were 1% and you could get a tenant for $500 a month and you didn't even care about what the property looked like. But now things are so heightened and the economy in the housing market has just not been good. It's just not a good investment in my eyes.
Right. And that's a great point. The housing market's not even great right now for an individual buyer. So you're going to get a loan out right now at what, 7, 8, 9% interest rate. Whenever 5 years ago, 6, 8 years ago, you could have gotten it for 2%,
Mm-hmm.
2.5%. So, and that's why you see this issue with the demand for housing, and this is why the price for housing is so high, is because now you have a situation where COVID happened, and so the feds hiked the rates, right? The interest rates. And so what happened is that all these homeowners who got these mortgages at a super low rate are now locked into that very low rate, and they don't want to refinance, nor do they want to give up that loan. Because
Mhm.
why would they? Because if they refinance or they get a new loan on a new house, it's going to be at a much, much, much higher rate. So less people want to sell their homes right now. There's less homes on the market. The demand is incredibly high, right? And so, and also because there's, they're flooding in millions and millions of illegal immigrants into the country, so they need housing too. That's going to be competition, more people that need homes. And so it's just continuing to inflate and raise the prices of houses. So who did that benefit? The people who owned the houses in the first place, the rich people in the first place. Who does it hurt? The new consumer, the person who's not going to make money off of that house, is just trying to buy the house. So even if you have the money to buy a home right now that you're just planning and living in, to me, it doesn't make sense to even do it, at least right now, because this is the
Mhm.
worst time you could possibly do it. So if I'm you, I'm thinking, okay, let me save up as much as money as humanly possible, park it into assets that are going to appreciate without any costs associated with them. Digital assets, cryptocurrency, stocks, right? Things that are appreciating with the inflation that we've had. And then when you're ready, when it makes sense, if you want to start buying investment properties, then I say, okay, start to park your money into some of these physical assets. But in the world now where you have digital currencies and you have digital assets that you can invest in, me and Bobby, we make our money, boom, boom, boom. You throw it in some digital assets, 2x, 3x in a week, 2 weeks if you make the right play. So how could that not be attractive to you? Something that's decentralized, so the government can't touch it, can't take it from me. A property, they can touch it, they can take it from you. You don't pay your property taxes, property's gone. You don't, you don't pay your parking ticket over time, long enough period of time, they'll take your house. You don't pay your loan, you don't pay your mortgage, bank takes your house. So digital currencies are decentralized. There's, they are actually passive, right? So if you have a property, like you were saying, and you actually rent it out to a tenant, that's not passive income. You're working on that house. You're doing plumbing. You're doing electricity. You're paying for maintenance. You're doing all these different things for that home, unless you have a property management company. But then you still got to pay the property management company. How much money are you going to really profit every single month, right? So it's passive digital assets, and then I don't have to worry about it or check in on it every fucking 2 seconds if I don't want to, right? Like it's just there
Mhm.
appreciating. So why would you not take that avenue until you have millions and millions of dollars, and then you can just start buying up apartment complexes and then having those types of rental units, right?
So one of the important things is that you actually own the assets. Like when you buy a crypto coin of whatever you buy, it's yours. It's in your wallet. It's encrypted. That's why it's cryptocurrency. It's encrypted to you on the blockchain. You're the owner of that. You could send it. You could swap it with other coins. You could do what you want with it. When you buy a house, even if you put a massive thing about $1 million house, you put a 20% down payment down. That's $200,000 to own 20% of the asset. And like Priamo said, if you don't pay your property tax, if you don't pay your mortgage, they're going to come and take it from you. So not only did you pay a $200,000 down payment, but then they're just going to come and take it off of you and then say you owe the rest of the mortgage, and then you could have the house back.
Mm-hmm.
So there's so much risk involved, and there's so much. Honestly, if you look back to the 2008 housing crisis, there's a lot of schemers out there in the mortgage industry too. There's a lot of guys that just want to get loans out on the market, get their percentage or whatever they make per loan sale, and they don't care. And that's what happened in the 2008 housing crisis. Was they were just giving everybody. They were giving Joe Schmo a $1 million loan to get his house in Palm Beach, and he
Mm-hmm.
couldn't afford it. He was a mechanic at the local Jiffy Lube.
Right.
He he wasn't able
Right.
to he wasn't able to actually afford that house, and that's just what happens. Is that these people they go rogue on their loans, and then that house is gone. Bank comes in, takes it back, and now the bank's the owner again. So you don't
Mm-hmm.
you don't have that. It's like he rented that house, so you're better off just renting. And
Mm-hmm.
in terms of cryptocurrency, when you own that asset, you have the ability to sell at your will. It's liquid. There's liquidity pools that you could get in and out of assets, especially with these large cap like Bitcoin and Ethereum. They might not be as volatile. You might not be as making as much money, but they're way safer for your money. And you know that you could get your money out in an instant, and you know that it's not going to just drastically lose 50% of its value in a week's time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and crypto just makes so much sense when you look at it from a logistics perspective because, like you said, the advantages of it being decentralized, but there's no there's no drama attached to it. And when I say drama, I mean just nothing that just causes problems, right? The normal monetary system that we have with the banks that we have, there's problems. Humans are involved. Humans are naturally predatory. They're gonna do predatory behaviors to be able to make money. This is what people do. They're greedy. They want to make money. So this is what happened with the 2008 housing crisis is that there was predatory loan behavior where these people were giving out loans to people who could not afford them, people who should not have gotten them. And then because they weren't fixed rates on these loans, they started jacking up the rates and then these people defaulted because they couldn't pay for it. So there's predatory things that happen with human beings as well. In cryptocurrency, whenever you have a decentralized token, a decentralized asset, you remove the human being from the equation. You remove the emotion, the predatory nature of it. If you just have a good contract, a good token contract that runs well, that's completely decentralized, that's trusted, there's no drama attached to it. You know what it is, you know where it's going to be, and you know you're going to be able to keep it. You actually own that asset. Banks, when you have your money in the bank, you don't own your money. Your money's not even at the fucking bank. If you have 100 grand in your bank account, and you go to the bank tomorrow and you say, "Hey, I want to pull out my 100 grand," they don't even have it. It's literally not there.
It's in the
So
cloud. It's like a fugazi.
yeah,
It's in the cloud. It's doesn't
yeah, it's
exist.
fairy dust. It fucking disappeared as soon as you put it into the account. They loaned it out 9 times out to the next person, and that's gone. It's gone. So it's all a scam. It is. And I don't say that to be, it's not a, it's conspiracy theorist scam. Oh, they're no, it's just out in the open. Clearly it's a scam. And this is just how the money system works. So so for example, I was saying this yesterday, whenever I try to send a wire transfer, so whenever I wire money to a Coinbase account or to a Kraken account to be able to buy crypto. So I'll wire 25,000 from my bank account to one of these exchanges. It takes 3 business days for me to wire that money to that exchange to be able to then use it, my own money to then be able to use it to buy crypto. Okay, so that's from my bank to the exchange. I also wired money to other people as well. So it takes forever. There's also tons of fees attached to it. I end up paying a bunch of money just to be able to send my money to somebody else's bank account. It's just numbers on a screen. That's it. With crypto, I could send $1 million right now to Bobby's wallet address. It would be there within seconds, depending on the blockchain. Seconds. Okay. Regardless of the dollar amount I want to send, it'll be there within seconds. And again, depending on which blockchain that you're using, it'll cost a penny to do it. If I send him $1 million in Ethereum on the base chain, literally 1 penny. It'll be 1 penny to send it, and he'll have it instantly. So you're telling me that's not better than the system that we have right now? Why wouldn't you do that? So that's what I do. I pay the people inside of the Taylor's Code. I pay people that I do business with in crypto because they're all over the world. I have people in the UK, India, etc. So instead of going through PayPal and paying $30 in fucking transfer fees and this fee and that fucking fee, blah 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 blah, and you lose half your money in thin air by the time you send it to the UK and it gets put into a British pound. I just send Ethereum. Man, he got the money fucking 2 seconds.
So here's an idea I thought of with this whole hurricane stuff going on. Things I've been thinking about is how they tell you to prep for like the world ending or like a natural disaster like this, and they say always have cash on you. Well, I was thinking, I was like, well, crypto kind of acts as cash nowadays because if you have your phone and you're hooked up to a satellite, Starlink, like Elon wants to do, everyone should have Starlink, you still have internet to your phone. Even if you're in a natural disaster and you have access to Starlink, you can still send crypto, right? You don't need, so if you go to a traditional, like say if you go to a convenience store and you want to pick up some more water or a Gatorade or food, and you go in and your debit card is not working because they're little the little MasterCard Discover things that you boop your card off and it gets paid. What if those aren't working? Like, how are you going to pay traditionally if you don't have cash? Well, you could just send crypto. That was just something I thought about that could work in the future. And one of the ideas I had off of it that's a twist is that it has to become a payment processor. So like if you have a MetaMask and you do if you double click on and you get your Apple Wallet to come up. Yeah, and if you have your Apple Wallet come up and there's a MetaMask option where you could go into your MetaMask and then pay using that, or pay using your Phantom Wallet or whatever wallet you use that you have like on your phone, that is a
Hmm.
game changer because now you can just start paying for things with different coins and cryptos, and that's when it becomes truly a next level technology is when you're able to actually physically start paying for things off your phone or off a card or whatever it is, and it's gonna actually be used as money.
Hmm. Hmm. And what Bobby just said is anybody that's watching this should listen to what Bobby just said and say, okay, I got it. It makes sense now. I need to get as much cryptocurrency as humanly possible as soon as possible because that's the direction that we're moving in. More and more and more crypto is getting adopted. It's not the other way around. It's not less and less people are using it and it's getting faded out. No, more and more people are using it. It's becoming a more regular part of our daily lives. So, what do you think is going to happen? Crypto's faster, it's lower fees, it makes more sense globally because then I can have crypto in the US, fly to Europe, and then not have to exchange my US dollars for the European for the euro. No, I can just literally have the money that I have in the US fly to Europe and have to do nothing because everybody can take the same cryptocurrency. So you see what I'm saying? You remove so many layers of fees, issues, exchanges, etc. If I got Bitcoin, Bitcoin's worth the same everywhere, all across the world. I send you boom, Bitcoin, bang, you got the money, right? So so this is the direction that we're going to move down is more and more countries and more people are going to continue to adopt these assets. So if you're intelligent and you want to make money, you have to understand you need to be doing the things that people aren't doing before they start doing them, right? That's where the opportunity is at. The opportunity does not arise whenever everybody knows about it and everybody's using it. Oh, everybody has cryptocurrency now. I guess I have to use it now. Okay, the opportunity is gone. You lost. You missed it. Okay. This is something similar to the dot-com bubble. This is something similar to the other
I was just
big
about to
tech
say
bubble.
that.
Yeah, it's happening again. So many people got so rich off of the dot-com bubble. And you say, oh man, I wish I had that chance. If I would have been around during the dot-com bubble, I would have been so rich, millions, da da da. Guess what? You got your fucking dot-com bubble right now with crypto, and it's not going to be around for much, or it'll be around for much longer, but it's not going to be the bubble that it is right now for very long. So this is why you see so many 18, 19, 20-year-olds literally becoming multi-fucking millionaires just because they're a part of the crypto bubble. So yeah, what were you gonna say?
Yeah, as long as you're staying up on the technology and you understand what's going on, think about if you had the opportunity to invest in Google, in Apple, in Microsoft in 1998, the year I was born, like, would you have done that? Of course you would, right? Of course you would do that. So think about where this technology is going to be in 20 more years, integrated with the technologies we already have in an Apple, in a Google, all that kind of stuff, integrated with AI, being able to use AI to build chat bots that'll work for you. It's just you have to start understanding these technologies and have a longer vision of where they're going to be. And crypto is, I think, even bigger than the dot-com bubble because it has that financial aspect to it. The dot-com bubble was just being able to kind of see things on a web page and transfer messages back and forth between each other, more of like a connection and a social networking, as opposed, of course, you could build a business on top of that, and once people get to your webpage you could sell them something or buy something. So but the actual backing behind it is all money. People are building websites to make money. Now crypto is a twist on what money is itself, so that's why I think it's actually bigger than the dot-com bubble, because what you're going to see is financial institutions start creating funds for it, which we have already seen, the Bitcoin funds, Ethereum funds. So all this stuff is popping up where big corporations and things like that are going to start making investments into this so they could get on the returns as well. And I think the
Mm-hmm.
smart companies are. The smart companies are already involved. They're already diversifying their portfolios.
You look at MicroStrategy, right? Michael Saylor's company. All they do is buy Bitcoin. This is fucking the whole company is just he buys Bitcoin, right? And so that guy's going to be. I mean, he's already a billionaire, but he's going to be so unbelievably rich once this crypto bull run goes into effect and Bitcoin 2-3 X's from where it's at right now. So the other thing too with adopting things before they become mainstream, you have to understand too what's happening in the United States. So pay attention. You got to pay attention to where the money is flowing. Just this year, so you're still early. Bitcoin ETF got approved, Ethereum ETF got approved. So now finally institutions are starting to be able to get institutional money into these digital currencies, these digital assets. So what do you think is going to happen? Do you think Wall Street and these major corporations who handles people's money and created these ETFs. Do you think they created these ETFs to lose money or to make money? Well, to make money, right? So if they just dropped an ETF for Bitcoin, they just dropped the ETF for Ethereum, they're applying for one for XRP now, they're trying to apply one for Solana. If that's what they're doing, do you think these multi-billion dollar hedge funds and institutions are going to lose money? No. Of course not. So what you see happening for the past 7 months is the market has been ranging because these institutions are accumulating assets, are accumulating their positions. That's why they're keeping the price in a certain range. And when they're ready, they're gonna fucking send it higher. And when they send it higher, that's when everybody else, the guys like us who are invested into the market right now, accumulating our assets, are gonna get stupid fucking rich off of the bull run because they're gonna send the price much higher.
And then the guys who see it on the news after it's up 25%, Bitcoin crosses 100,000, they're like, "Oh, I wish I bought it. Wish I got in on Bitcoin."
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Or even better,
it's too
they
late.
will. Yeah.
Yeah.
And even better, a lot of them will,
Yeah.
right? A lot of them will buy
Mm-hmm.
it and they'll become the exit liquidity for the institutions and us, right?
So,
It-
so
yeah, go ahead.
one last thing, kind of on what you said with the banks is like, and before what you said is that when you go to the bank and you deposit your money, and then you go back 2 weeks later, you try to get that money out, and they're like, "Oh, sorry, you're gonna have to wait 3 to 5 days till we get that in." You know why? Because they took your money and they put it in their Bitcoin fund. That's what they did. Like they're investing it in other areas of their business. So the cash, your cash is not a priority to them. It's them making money on their investments, and their investments is what you put in the bank. So
Mm-hmm.
you have to understand this and understand that if the big banks are going to do this, you have to get involved too.
Mm-hmm. Isn't that a fantastic point too that people don't even think about? Think about what the bank does with your money when you put your money into a savings account. Think about this. This is how you should know that the system's fucked and you're doing the wrong thing. Your mindset is, I want to work, save money, and stack up my savings account so I can get rich over time. Like, I'm going to save my money. As soon as you put your money into a savings account at the bank and you think you're doing a great job by saving all this money, you're going to be rich one day and you're going to buy this house and you're going to be rich one day. The bank turns around, like Bobby said, the second you put your money into that fucking savings account and they loan it out 9 times for that $1, and they take any other funds or any other money that they have and they go ahead and have that invested into the market. So while you don't put your money to work and you put it into a savings account, the bank turns around immediately and understands, well, why the fuck we would just hold this cash? That's stupid. Why would we just save money? Put it into the market, loan it out to other people, earn a return on that interest. Bang. They're fucking making money hand over fist. And this is the other thing, that the robbery that they do to the American people, because the Americans think, well, what else can we do? Now the interest rates on savings account, they've been slowly but surely inching them all the way down to the point where now it's quite literally nothing.
Yeah.
The whole point of a bank paying you interest on your savings account, the idea is that they're incentivizing you to save the money with the bank. And so then what the bank does is they create a spread for themselves where, in theory, if they pay you 1% interest on your savings account, they can turn around and sell your money at a 3% or a 4% interest on a loan, and they create that spread for themselves. So they pay out 1%, but then they charge 4% for that money. So they create a 3% difference, which is not a 3% spread. It's a what is that, 300%, 300% spread for themselves. So they make 300% on your money. Here's the problem, though, or not the problem. I mean, it's not a problem for them. Now they just literally don't even pay you for the money that you put in the bank. Now you've been so brainwashed into saying or thinking that, oh, I have to have my money in the bank. That's just what it is. Now they don't even fucking pay you for your money. They just rob you. You put the money in the bank, they hold it, and they just go sell it for free. They don't even pay you anymore.
Yeah, that's such a good point because you should let your money work for you. Don't let your money work for the bank. Like Priyama said, they're going to take your money and invest it to make their own returns. But you could be doing the same thing if you were educated and you were actually taking the time to learn. You could make that money work for you. And there's no reason why you can't do this. People do it every single day. You just have to be educated and to know that you could take that $100,000 you've been saving to buy your dream house Give it another 2 years. Put the house on the back burner for 2 more years. Take that 100,000, put it into assets that are going to grow and accumulate over the next 2 years. And in 2 years, I bet you could probably have $200,000. You could double your money with the way that these markets are going with Ethereum and Bitcoin and all these other coins. If you diversify correctly and don't go into huge risk assets, maybe buy some stocks with it, take 20 grand, go stocks, 20 grand Bitcoin, 20 grand Ethereum, diversify it into a nice portfolio. In 2 years, I guarantee you're going to be up on that money, guaranteed. And that's just things people have to start thinking about, because things aren't affordable. Houses aren't affordable. And if you are going to put all the money you have into something like that, I would much rather have that money work for me. Money is a tool at the end of the day. Money is not anything else. It's just a financial tool to get you to be able to buy things in this world. So it's super important that you will have your money work for you and not the banks.
Absolutely. And if you can't get at least a 2x on your money in the cryptocurrency markets, 2x in financial normal stock markets, 2x is a big fucking deal. Once you double your money, stock markets at the average return 10% a year, you're doubling your money at about 7 to 10 years down the road. In crypto, if you can't double your money in a year, you're probably retarded. Like you got to be pretty fucking stupid. And so I say that as a good thing, because if you're not retarded, you just print money. You literally just buy it. Even if your brain doesn't work and you're not inside of the Taylor's code and you just won't be a part of the private crypto plays where we literally just tell you the money printing plays are going to get you 5, 10, 15, 20x on your money. Fine. Even if you don't do that, you're afraid, and you just buy Bitcoin, which I promise you is not going anywhere. There's Bitcoin ETFs now. Bitcoin's safe. It will never go to zero ever again for the rest of human time. Understand that institutions will not allow it to go to zero. It's impossible. Okay. Even if you just buy Bitcoin, you will at least 2x your money. At least. Okay. So why wouldn't you do that? Bobby just said it. Why would you not do that? Simply because of a lack of education and fear. Well, guess what a lack of education and fear has gotten anybody? Fucking nothing. Broke. Stay in the same situation that you've been in your entire life. You need to have a degree of bravery and seek some sort of education so that you can take advantage of these sorts of things. Me and Bobby, we didn't go to fucking college for crypto. No, we understand that there's an opportunity, there's a market there. People are making a shit ton of money. I know people who are less competent than me, less intelligent, less good looking, less fit, everything, just completely inferior to who I am as an individual, who make millions of dollars in crypto. So I said,
yeah, it's the truth.
So something's working. So I'm going to figure this out, because there's nothing that I can't do. If another man can do it and they breathe the same air as I do, then I'm going to be able to do the same thing. And guess what we're doing? After a year now of being in the trenches, educating, making money, doing what we had to do, learning our lessons, understanding how the market works, understanding where the market's going, we're making money.
It's such a good point, because when crypto first came out, like me and Priyama were in college, and we knew of it, like we knew of crypto, but we weren't educated on crypto. And I think there's a big difference between knowing what it is and then actually, knowing what it is. It's like you might think you know what it is, but at the end of the day, when you dive deep down into it and you see these returns on different investments that you could get and the time frames that these things happen, it's so easy to make money. And I look back on those days where we had money, we were trying different things, but we didn't think of the crypto the way we think of it now. And I don't think it was I don't think they had the tools like they had now, per se, to make it so accessible to everyone. We probably would have had to been on some website, and had our wallet in there. But I just think back on those days, because we were hustling, like we were always thinking of different things to do and shit, but we never went down that crypto rabbit hole like we should have.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think about that too. Because me and Bobby went to college together, and that's how we met. And yeah, in college, it was the same thing. This is why you have to find the right group of people that are going to obviously help you and help yourself, escape the situation that you're in. Is all we would talk about is business ideas, ways that we could make money. We would always talk about making money. We would talk about being rich, all these different things. Yeah, we were partying. We were college students fucking around.
Yeah.
But while we were playing Fortnite, we did talk about making money. And so, yeah, it's just the opportunity is there. It's just people are afraid to go for it. And the more you educate yourself on crypto or anything that it is that you want to do to make money, the thing that also hurts people too is the more it seems that the more that you learn, the less that you know, right? The less that you realize that you know. And so that's what can make it very intimidating for crypto is that as soon as you do start even learning about it, if you get that far, now you understand you don't know fucking anything.
Mm-hmm.
And it is a complex and vast world, but you can quickly learn it. I mean, it took us a year plus, right? Which is a year plus. It takes time, okay? But what did we do? We just didn't quit. Every single day, educate, look at charts, understand how the industry works, understand the different ways to make money. I mean, I learned everything from liquidity pools, staking, V3 Ethereum, or not Ethereum, V3 Uniswap liquidity providing, you know, we're talking about trading different meme coins on the Solana blockchain, base chain, different assets. You just learn everything over time, and that makes you more competitive, and then you just make more money. And then guess what? You also do for yourself if you become an expert at crypto. You also now have created a skill for yourself to be able to make money. That's the other thing that people don't think about. Think about how much money you can make just from knowing about crypto outside of the assets themselves.
Yeah.
So now you know how to make money in crypto. You know how to invest it. You know how to turn 10,000 into 100,000 off of a 10x. How many people do you think are going to try to give you money now to invest for them? Guess what? You just opened up a wealth management fund. Now all of a sudden you're getting 100 grand from this person, 100 grand from that person, 50 grand for this person. You charge them a couple grand up front, 1% of their assets whenever, per year, et cetera, whatever you want to do. There you go. There's your business. There's your income stream.
It's a
right?
great idea.
Yeah. I know guys who do that right now. I literally know somebody who does that right now. He fucking millionaire off of crypto. So that's all he does. Now he just sources a bunch of money. He goes and puts it where he knows he can make the money off of it. They get paid. He gets paid. Bang. Well, how can you do that? You got to have the knowledge of how to actually make the money, right? That's valuable. If you can make people money, they'll give you money. I can assure you that.
So, one thing we touched on yesterday, and maybe this is why the live stream ended up being cut, but we were talking about these hurricane relief efforts, everything going on, and the government's response in terms of FEMA and money. And I'll tie this into crypto at the end. So, what we've been seeing around the world and here at home is that politicians value war and value destruction of other nations more than they value their own citizens, right? That's just been proven over the past year, I'd say, right? Mm-hmm. Not only do we have all-time high homelessness, we have all-time high drug use, we have all these different factors that you can measure quality of life in people. Unemployment's another one, right? So not only are those all-time high under our current administration, but also you have these wars that are being funded every single day. I saw over $80 billion to Ukraine this year alone, right? But we have cities like Asheville, North Carolina, that literally just got wiped off the map. It doesn't exist anymore. And what does our government do for them? Offers them a $750 loan, right? To get their immediate needs, right? Water, food. Your dog just got literally swept away. You need all this stuff.
You need a new dog.
Yeah, all this stuff just happened, and right, you need to pay for cleaning to come clean your house up that just got destroyed, right? So it's clear that they have prioritized other foreign relations over the American citizens. Okay, that's fine. You want to go that route? You're not going to get voted into office, this next election. I can't see it happening personally. So how's this tie into crypto? Elon Musk wants to come up with the Department of Government Efficiency, Doge.
Doge.
It's a Dogecoin if you guys don't know. So what is that going to do? That is going to clean and trim all the fat off of this excess government spending, and it might actually give us a chance to turn the industrial industry back into a positive note for America. Because in America, we have seen, we talked about this yesterday, a decay in our progress of building new roads, building bridges, building new towns, doing all this different stuff that actually makes lives better for people. irrigation, new farms, new piping to get water from a clean water source to a new town, right? All this stuff has come to a halt. And I think one project that I would like to see done in America, and it hasn't been done under the current budgets and things that we work on, is high-speed rail. There's no reason why we shouldn't have high-speed rail going across the plains of America, 600 miles an hour, and you could get from Los Angeles to New York in maybe 5-6 hours, right? Maybe you take a stop in St. Louis or in Dallas, Texas, right, for a couple hours, pick up more people, and you go. But this is something that I think has to be done. And I saw, I don't know, I think I sent this to you, or maybe I sent it to someone else that lives in Pittsburgh, but there's a new train from Chicago to Columbus, Ohio to Pittsburgh and down, all the way down the eastern seaboard and going down to Miami. So that's a Brightline train, I think it's called, or it's part of Amtrak. But those are projects that we want to see get done and that we want to see invested to. We don't want to see billions and billions of dollars going overseas to fight wars.
So, and as you're saying that, I'm thinking to myself too, when was the last time did you see America do something fantastic infrastructure wise or build wise in the United States, right? We had our big one whenever it happened was the Empire State Building, right? Empire State Building used to be the tallest building in the world, if I'm not mistaken. So that was our, oh, look at what we were able to create with all this money and wealth that we've accumulated as a nation. We don't do any of that anymore. Our infrastructure is old. It's starting to fail. Our cities are old. You can tell in Pittsburgh and these other countries, these other cities that I visit.
Yeah.
These are old cities. These cities were built in the 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s. Like these aren't new cities, and you can tell. You look at a place in the Middle East like Dubai. Dubai is a prosperous place. You can tell they're prospering. You can tell they're innovating. You can tell they're trying to do fantastic feats of human feats. They're built the biggest building in the fucking world. They built these, they literally created beaches and property in the desert and just so many. They got ski resorts where they make their own snow. It's in the middle of the desert. They're people fucking. They got full mountains over there. They're creating their own weather. It's just they're doing fantastic things as a nation. They're innovating. They're pushing forward. They're trying to be the best. They're trying to flex their power. That's a healthy thing for a nation. That's a growing nation. That's a prosperous nation. In the US, we can't even do that because we can't get past the fucking litigation and the rules and regulations that we've set in place that have so constricted and confined the companies that would even want to do something like that. Elon talks about it in California. You can't do anything in California for years just from all the paperwork and regulations and approvals and licenses you got to get to be able to do anything. That's why he had to move to Texas. Say you can't even accomplish anything in California. How can you build anything when it takes you 2 years just to get approval to build it? Why would you want to restrict your own nation and your own progress with so many rules and regulations? Rules and regulations are constrictive, okay? Do you need some rules and regulations to a degree? Sure. But over time, we've accumulated so many rules and regulations in our nation that it's now inhibiting the progress of the nation. That's not healthy. That's in spite of our own selves.
So I wanted to look up a number here. How much GDP has California lost over the past couple years? I just wanted to see this amount. How much GDP money has California lost? Because I know it's going to be a big number. So, well, it says here that they're 45 billion over their budget for.
They missed the mark by a bit. 45 billion over budget.
Yeah, but I don't see anything about GDP decreases. But I'll find that number another time. But that was just something that popped in my head because, yeah, you see major corporations. I think it all started kind of with COVID, and California had very strict COVID laws. And with that, they also have a lot of big, in Silicon Valley, San Francisco, they had a lot of tech companies there, right? So when the tech companies went remote for COVID, it left all these big office buildings, to think of, for anyone who's never been to San Francisco, think of New York City style skyscrapers that were left empty. And all these people that lived in Silicon Valley, California, San Francisco, they went remote work. So what did they do when they were able to go remote work? They moved out of the state and went to states that were cheaper out west, like Arizona, like Colorado, like South Dakota, North Dakota, Idaho. They moved all around there because one, they're rich. If you live in Silicon Valley, California, you make a lot of money. So their money was going a lot farther in those places. So they moved out, and they never went back. And what you can see in San Francisco now is that these big skyscrapers are empty. They can't get tenants. And the stores at the bottom of these skyscrapers are being looted, robbed by people in the streets, just the low income people that are just trying to, I guess, survive. A lot of criminals, but there's also a lot of homelessness that try to survive. So not only are they in a huge deficit because no businesses want to go back there. We look at X, Twitter, formerly Twitter, moved out, now in Austin, Texas. All these other companies are moving out of there. So this is the game you play. It's like the chessboard. Like, where do you want to invest your money? Definitely not in California. It's been one of the worst. You want to go somewhere that's more of a safe haven, and that's going to be easier to build a business.
In California, it's quite literally legal. It's legal to steal things under $1,000. That they don't stop you. This is a real thing.
If you have less than $1,000 and you get caught, it's just a ticket. They'll fine you for what you have worth on it. You think they pay those fines? No. But you can't even go to jail if you don't have more than $1,000 on you.
So it's just the clown world that they've created over there, unfortunately, because it's the greatest state in the country naturally.
It is.
Weather-wise, beautiful, but they've ruined the state because they have the woke mind virus. I went to Los Angeles not too long ago, and you can feel how fantastic the place is. Just the look of it, it makes sense why it was so famous, why it was so fantastic, etc. But then you see some of the things and the people there, and you realize, oh yeah, this is a failing society. It's a declining society. It's not an up and coming, bright lights, people moving there, people excited, etc. Yeah, the state got fucking decimated because these people don't, their minds don't work. They don't operate in reality. And so, you think about these things, how it's not illegal to steal things. That's one thing. They made it illegal to do memes, political memes in California. Because Gavin Newsom got his butt hurt because they made an AI video about him. Pussy. And so now he made it illegal, essentially freedom of speech, which is obviously against the Constitution. That's a huge problem. Elon's over there saying this is nobody realizing how fucking insane this is. He made it illegal to make memes of him and political memes. So it's a failing society. So again, when we say don't be tied to a physical location, this is what we're saying. You don't want to be trapped in a place like that when your goal is to get out, be free, make as much money as possible, be a sovereign individual, but you have a 30-year mortgage on a home that you can barely pay, and now you can't sell it. So you're stuck. You're stuck in that situation, and then you've wasted your entire life trying to pay off of that loan, and it's over now. By the time you pay off that loan, your life is over. So this is why you need to stay sovereign and free as much as humanly possible until you get yourself into a position where money's no longer an issue. And then you can just do whatever the fuck you want. That's ideally the goal, right? So you can't get trapped in places like these. You have to look for up-and-coming winning teams. I look at states and I look at countries as if I were looking at an organization or a sports team. Who are the winners? Who are the people that are rising, up and coming on a positive upward arc? I don't want to be in a place long term that has a downward trajectory. For me, I think it's very obvious the US is moving down. It's on a downward trajectory. So why long term would I want to have a family and build my life in a place that's declining when I could go somewhere that's inclining? It just makes sense to me, but that's the way that I look at it.
And that's a great point, and that's this is something that's been very controversial over the past 10, I mean 12 years now since he started running for office. And his what is has been Trump's motto since he got into office? It's been "Make America Great Again." And some people have such a problem with that. But if you actually look around at the scope of what is going on, like we just talked about in California, and what goes on in places like New York City and things like this, that's the kind of attitude we need. And I understand why he has such a big following and a lot of people that believe the same thing. And people just want to hate because he is who he is, and then the machine, that's a whole different conversation. But the actual term itself, "Make America Great Again," is something that we all need to work towards. It's something that it's not in my mind, it's not political. It's something that it's a common goal for everyone to aspire to. Everybody should want to live in a great nation. Everybody should want to not have to walk down the street and step in homeless guy's poop.
Hmm.
It's just like you want to clean this stuff up and get better so we could get on the right path in terms of thinking, critical thinking, and building, like you said, infrastructure and solving problems with maybe stopping hurricanes, getting more satellites into space, getting astronauts into space, and doing all these cool things we want to do. But it all starts at the home front. We have to make
Hmm.
sure that the home front is great and is clicking on all cylinders, dollars aren't wasted, and that's all part of it.
Hmm. And the last point I'll make before we end this is, would you rather be a part of a team where everybody on that team is proud to be wearing that jersey and proud to be wearing the name on the front of that jersey and working towards a common goal? Or would you rather be a part of a team where they're divided, the people don't agree with each other, they don't even like to wear the name on the front of the jersey, they don't even like the team that they're playing for? What organization would you rather be a part of? What organization is going to have more success? Well, the team with the common goal, the team who's proud to be a part of the team that they're on, the people that are actually working towards a common goal. In the US, it's gotten to the point now where if you fly an American flag, it's almost a political statement. What? You're supposed to be proud of the fucking country you're a part of, you fucking moron.
People are loony. They're so loony.
You could nowadays, it's crazy. You see an American flag, and some people take that as a statement. Oh, why the US sucks. These people say this all the, oh, the US, why are you flying the flag? What's the US done for me? The US is oppressive. The UN, dumb shit. So when you're a part of a nation where even a large major not a large majority, but a large portion of the population isn't even proud to be American, where they say, I'm American, right? That's not a winning team. That's not a winning organization. I don't
Culture.
believe so. Yeah.
It's winning culture. If you think, like, if you watch football, what, like, they talk about building a winning culture, like we want to be winners. That's the same thing you need in a country. I think there's a lot of countries around the world that have a loser mentality for sure. You see it,
Hmm.
like you just know which ones those people are. And America used to be the winning culture, and something happened. I don't know what it exactly was. So that was the shift in the culture of, I don't know. I don't even know what to call it. Maybe like the wokeness or and all this, but it's like people don't even want to be American anymore, even though they've lived here their whole lives and everything they attribute to their success is, in America. But whatever.
Hmm. Yeah, I get it. I believe it's that people are feeling that they've been robbed, and I can sympathize with that because now the American dream, that facade is no longer there. I don't believe that many people believe that there's an American dream that they can live. Is there? Yeah. I mean, if you're really a fucking savage and you really go get after it, there's not a human being nor a nation on this world that can stop you from getting what you want.
Hmm.
I believe that wholeheartedly. I will be rich no matter what. It does not matter.
Yeah.
But the illusion, at least the hope, at least the idea of the American dream, I don't believe is still there. And now that the government has essentially turned on its people, or at least the elites have turned on its people, and it's clear that they no longer operate in the interest of the people, that causes the division, the divide, the not being proud of your nation, because now this country that's supposed to represent you and the people, something you're supposed to be proud of, is no longer connected with you and what it is that the people want. Now it's looked at as a separate entity that's just looking to extract value from the people that live on that nation's turf.
Hmm.
And so there you lose it. Now we're no longer on the same team, right? It's you extorting me for my human, my brain power, my physical human power, and my
Labor,
money,
yeah.
labor. Yeah, it's just an extortion now. So that's what happens. You extort people, they're probably not going to feel too proud about being a part of that nation anymore. So that's it, player. I mean, that was a fucking. We went down a little bit of a rabbit hole at the end there, but that was good. But it's true. It's true. You got to think about these things. You do. You have to be aware of what's going on in the world. Even if it's not the correct perspective, at least you had the conversation. At least you
Yeah,
thought it.
you always give your perspective on what you think, and that's the whole point of this. This podcast is to talk about ideas and to just talk about things we see, how to become more of a gentleman, how to become more of a man, how to just understand these things. Because no one's just gonna come in and teach you, and you're not just gonna know. Like you need to converse, you need to talk to people, and that's what we're doing here. We're just talking. So. I guess I'll round it out by saying if you guys made it this far in the video, um, like, subscribe, join the Taylor's Code, link in the bio, link in the description of this video. Like I said, we had some technical difficulties yesterday, so we weren't able to get this video up, but we'll get these videos up as soon as possible. But that's it. That's all I had for today.
For sure. Yeah, fantastic, Bobby. Same thing for me. Just make sure you guys are actually taking the steps towards becoming a gentleman and doing something that you can be proud of. You're going to realize that you're going to feel so much better about your life and your existence as a man as soon as you can be proud about the things that you do. If you don't feel proud, it's because you're doing the wrong things. It's not that you can't be proud. It's not that you can't accomplish great things. It's just you're just not doing the right things, right? Gentlemen, they think, they converse, they defend their ideas, but they're open to listening about other ideas. Gentlemen make money. They can provide, protect, and take care of their family around them. So if you don't feel that you're doing those things, you need to change that quickly. You need to become fit, go to the gym, make money, talk to women, right? Don't be a coward. Don't be afraid to talk to girls. Don't be afraid of, all these things that make you a man, you need to do more of so that you can feel more proud of yourself. So, gentlemen, improve yourselves, continue to have conversations, continue to be aware of the world around you, because the more competent that you become, the more intelligent that you become, the more that you know about what's going on in the world, the more that you can protect and provide for your family. And women, I assure you, they find that attractive. They don't want a guy that doesn't know what the fuck is going on in the world. So if that's you, then just be prepared to be cucked for the rest of your life and divorced and taken advantage of by the women, right? I was talking to Logan about this yesterday. I was saying, I don't negotiate with women or children. Okay. So whatever it is that I say, that's what it is. I don't negotiate with women or children. So as a gentleman, I would encourage you to adopt the same mindset as long as you're competent enough to live that way. So outside of that, Bobby, I'm good to go. It's a fucking banger.
All right.
All right, guys. Peace. Fire.